flagship grade processor, AMOLED display, and a decent camera, all from a name brand for under $100? Too good to be true? Let's find out. 2016 was an interesting year for smartphones. There was the edge-to-edge display on the S7, dual cameras started to appear, and Apple, they did something, I guess. And there are also semi-modular phones. First, it was LG with the G5. The specs were on par at the time, but it lacked an AMOLED display and a big battery. And the G5 friends were too complicated. You had to shut the device down, press the little button on the bottom to take out the battery, insert the new G5 friend, and do the reverse and turn the phone back on. But what about the other modular device? The Z features 4GB of RAM, a 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED display, Type-C with fast charging, a front-mounted fingerprint sensor, dual LED rear flash, and a selfie flash. This is all powered by the powerful Snapdragon 820, which is only 4 cores, but those cores are at 2.2 GHz, which is plenty fast. Now, the normal Droid Z has a 2600 mAh battery, Gorilla Glass 4, and has a 13 megapixel rear camera. The shatterproof Force Droid is the stronger of the devices, featuring a 21 megapixel camera, a bigger 3500 mAh battery, and of course, you won't need a case or screen protector because the Force Droid has Motorola's signature Shadow Shield display. Both devices either have 64 or 32 GB of storage, expandable up to 512 GB of storage via the microSD card slot. Besides all of the other differences I mentioned, everything is the same. Hold on a second. Where's the... Oh my god, there's no headphone jack! Alright. So first impressions are pretty good. Regardless of the scuffed cover I got, the build quality is 10 out of 10. The front is glass, and around the sides is aluminum. The back is where things get interesting. The top is a strip of glass, below that is a circular camera bump with the Droid branding, the middle section is aluminum with Motorola branding, and below that is another strip of glass with something interesting, which we'll get back to later. Regardless of the glass display, the phone feels really sturdy. There is no give in the chassis, and I really feel that Lenovo did a great job in the build of this device. Now let's move on to the software. When I got this device, it had an Android Marshmallow, but after what felt like 10 different OTA updates, I got Nougat, and finally Android 8.0 Oreo. This is the Verizon variant, so unlike most Moto devices, this one had a crap ton of bloatware, and still has some. Other than that, this is a full stock Android experience. The 820 makes the experience butter smooth, and I haven't experienced any kind of lag or stutter at all. Motorola also has their Moto Actions app, which lets you enable stuff like the always on display, which is probably the best implementation of this feature. All you have to do is swipe over the bottom of the device, and the screen displays notifications. All you do to see them is tap and hold, and to dismiss, you just drag down. There are other things like chop twice to torch the very bright flashlight, and twist twice to open the camera from any screen. There's also voice, which allows you to make your own phrase to trigger the Google Assistant. Since the Google Assistant is available on all devices, the custom trigger phrase won't go to the assistant directly, but if something that controls your phone, then it will automatically redirect to the assistant and perform the desired operation. Hey Moto Z, what's the weather?
It's 35 degrees and partly cloudy in Broken Arrow.
Hey Moto Z, set screen brightness to 50%. Moving on to the display, it has a 1440 by 2560 AMOLED display with a 535 pixel per inch density. I have to say, when I first saw it, it put my G3 to shame. Don't get me wrong, the LG G3 still has a very nice display, even to this day. But the Z is very vibrant, and the color accuracy is on point. It gets pretty bright. I haven't tested it in the sunlight, but the viewing angles are great, and for me, it's bright enough. The display is also AMOLED, meaning that rather than a typical LCD display on, let's say, the LG G5, where all 2,000 pixels light up at the same exact time and turn off at the same exact time, some of the Z's pixels can turn off. So, on the Moto display, the only things that light up are the battery ring and your notifications. Since it has a black background, all of the black pixels can turn off, reducing the amount of battery drain and increasing the life of your display. Overall, best display I've ever had on a smartphone. The camera on this device is also really nice. I can shoot up to 4K 30 FPS, but for now I'll probably stick with 1080 at 60 FPS, just because my 2200G only has so many cores, I only have so much free storage on my PC, and a 32GB SD card on my phone, which yes, is the Z, won't hold 4K footage for a while. This is video on the Moto Z. This is the selfie camera. This is a pretty quiet environment. It's kind of loud outside, but yeah, I believe this is 1080 60 FPS. The camera is 5 megapixels. I'll have to double check, but yeah, camera quality is pretty good if I do say so myself. The image stabilization is pretty good. And yet again, the laser autofocus feature is still there. The Z features a single front-facing speaker, which doubles as the earpiece, and coming from the LG G3, I have to say it's pretty loud and the quality is pretty good. As for listening to audio on a headset, you'll need a Type-C male to 3.5mm female adapter, so keep that in mind if you're using headphones. The fingerprint sensor is also something great about this device. I haven't actually used one before until now, but for my first experience, it's very accurate and the unlock time is very fast, even faster than some more expensive budget devices. Now on to performance. The Z has a Snapdragon 820, which isn't cutting edge, but considering what I paid for it and what expectations I should have, this is more than enough. As I said before, whatever you throw at this phone, it will handle it no problem. As far as gaming is concerned, it will run games like Asphalt 8 or 9 no problem. But when you get into games like Fortnite, well, honestly, you'd be better off playing PUBG. The device does heat up when you start getting it going, but the device is aluminum, so the body sort of acts as a heat sink. So even though the device is warm to the touch, the heat is being transferred out through the housing. The battery life is something that has a whole lot to be desired. It has a measly 2600 mAh battery and will probably only last a day, but your mileage may vary. I haven't optimized the battery yet, so I'll come back to this maybe in a later video. But now, let's get to the mysterious gold contacts on the bottom of the device. This is what makes the Z series truly unique. Moto Mods are Lenovo's modular system. Want a louder speaker? Even if the existing one is totally fine, you can choose from the JBL Sound Blue speaker, the Motorola stereo speaker, and there's even an Amazon Alexa speaker. There's also the camera mod, 360 camera mod, InstaShare projector mod, InstaShare printer mod, battery pack, gamepad, case. You can even get covers that do absolutely nothing, but give your phone a new look, and I think it also enables wireless charging. The system is pretty simple. According to the Motorola website, all you do is snap, tap, done. This is probably the best modular system, but isn't as practical as normal phone accessories. Considering the prices of these mods, which are really expensive, you can get a power bank for pretty cheap, and even the speaker could be replaced by a Bluetooth one. Now the only question is, should you buy a not sold flagship in 2018? Absolutely. The only thing, or things to watch out for, are ask if there's any screen burn, because a lot of the time, these AMOLED phones suffer from that defect. Another thing is, try and get the unlocked, not Verizon, but unlocked Force Droid. Its battery is bigger, and it is a little thicker, but with that extra thickness, you get a more durable device. If you can't get the Force, try and find an unlocked Z with a good display, and make sure all of the features work. The reason I say unlocked rather than getting the Verizon one is because I used to think that Verizon was a superior network. The Droid line of smartphones was superior to everything else. But the only thing that seems true about that statement is the fact that Lenovo or Motorola makes pretty good devices. I now know why there was a story about getting the Verizon bootloader unlocked, or something along those lines. Verizon keeps their phones locked, and Lenovo doesn't have anything to say about it. So, if you want to get the phone rooted, then please, don't make the mistake I did and get it unlocked. The one way to tell that it's the unlocked model is looking into pictures for the camera bump. Usually, if it has the OG Droid logo, it's from Verizon. If it just has the regular Moto logo, then more likely than not, it's unlocked, but it would still be wise to look up the model number and just ask the seller. Well, this has been my review of the Moto Z Droid. It's sleek and thin, looks fragile but is really sturdy, has a great software and performance, a stunning display, and doesn't feel like it's an old device. Even if you can't find a deal like I did for $100, it still feels well worth over $100, even going into the year 2019. Well guys, subscribe to the channel so we can hit 100 subs before 2019. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and consider checking out some of my other content. If you have any suggestions to improve my content, please let me know in the comment section. Anyways, thank you all for watching. This channel has changed quite a lot since day one, but I'd just like to say thank you for all the support. Maybe next year we can hit 200, maybe even more. But enough of that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the new year.